The dark night of the soul, a term many encounter during deep spiritual crises, is a transformative process where you experience pain, confusion, and sometimes a sense of losing direction. However, it is precisely in these challenging moments that you have the opportunity to discover your true self and emerge stronger. So how do you know when you've truly overcome this phase and entered a new spiritual realm, where you feel more empowered, awakened, and deeply connected with yourself and the universe? The signs you may notice on this journey aren't always clear, but they are important indicators that help you recognize the profound changes happening within you. In this video, we will explore 7 powerful signs that show you when you have truly passed through the dark night of the soul and moved into a higher spiritual realm. Don't miss the chance to recognize the amazing changes unfolding within you and the spiritual awakening you are experiencing. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated with our latest videos on spiritual topics, inner awakening, and philosophical insights. Life is full of unforeseen uncertainties. The breakdown of a job, a relationship, or an unexpected accident. You might associate these events with a cosmic joke or feel like life itself has turned against you. But have you ever considered that these might just be challenges? Signs that you've been chosen to walk through the fire and emerge as a new version of yourself? This is the dark night of the soul, and surviving it will change everything. There's no easy way to say this. The dark night of the soul fundamentally erases the person you once thought you were, the identity you clung to, the person built on societal expectations, the roles you played, and the ego-driven desires crumbles under the weight of truth. And it's terrifying. Everything that once defined you begins to dissolve. The habits, the labels, the things you thought made you, they no longer fit. It's as though the world you knew, your sense of self, has unraveled, leaving you in an abyss of confusion and emptiness. But here's the important part. While it may feel like you've lost everything, what you've actually lost is an illusion. That version of you, shaped by external forces, wasn't the real you to begin with. It was a construct, a mask worn to navigate life, shaped by the opinions of others and the pressures of society. In truth, this breakdown isn't a random accident or a cruel punishment. It's a calling, a deep invitation to strip away everything false and superficial, to confront the core of who you truly are. As you go through this, you might feel like you're adrift, suspended in a strange void, no longer tethered to anything that once defined you. It can feel like you're no one and nothing, a terrifying and disorienting experience. But this feeling of floating in limbo, the sense of being lost, is actually a key part of the process. This is not the end of who you are. It's the beginning of who you are meant to become. The destruction of the old self is not a tragic event, but a necessary rite of passage. The old version of you had to die so that the new, truer version could be born. This experience is nothing short of a rebirth in disguise. It's not about losing yourself. It's about discovering who you really are, beneath all the layers you've accumulated over time. The person you were, the person shaped by expectations, by ego, and by the roles you were assigned, had to be shed in order for you to emerge as the person you are truly meant to be. Letting go of the past can be painful. It's not easy to release the life you once knew, the comforts you once relied on, and the identity that seemed so solid. But it's precisely in this letting go that the real magic happens. When you can finally release the weight of the past and all the things that no longer serve you, you open yourself to a new chapter of growth. You open the door to transformation. So as unsettling and painful as it may be, remember this. The destruction you are experiencing is not the end. It's the cleansing fire that clears the path for your true self to emerge. The old self was never truly you. It was just a version of you that you outgrew. The real you has been waiting all along, hidden under the layers, and now it's time to step forward and shine. Let's be real for a moment. Nothing is more terrifying than uncertainty. When the dark night of the soul comes for you, it doesn't just throw you into the unknown. It forces you to exist there, to live in it, day after day. All the plans you had, the certainties you built your life around, The need for control you so desperately clung to, they all vanish, leaving you standing in an abyss of questions with no answers in sight. Everything you once thought you knew is suddenly shattered. You're left with an overwhelming feeling that you're free-falling, weightless, through a never-ending void. But here's the game changer. The unknown isn't your enemy. It's your liberation. It's one of the most profound lessons you'll ever learn. At first, it might feel like you're being punished or abandoned, but as you ride through this storm, you start to realize something transformative. The need for certainty, for having all the answers, was actually just another form of bondage. It was a prison, keeping you trapped in a small, predictable life, confined to what you thought you knew. The moment everything you relied on crumbles, you're forced to surrender and trust something deeper within yourself. When the ground beneath you shifts, you no longer have the option of depending on external sources for answers. You can no longer look to others to tell you what's next or search for clear instructions. Instead, you're called to trust in your own inner wisdom, your intuition, your resilience, and your ability to adapt. That's where the magic of the unknown really takes root. It's not about blindly walking forward without guidance. It's about surrendering to the unknown with full acceptance, even when it's scary, because in that surrender lies true power. Radical surrender is a concept that many people misunderstand. It's not about giving up or resigning to a helpless fate. It's not about weakness, it's a reclaiming of strength. It's the moment when you say, I don't know where this path leads, but I am walking it anyway. And with that declaration, you begin to feel a profound shift within yourself. You start to embrace the journey for what it is, unpredictable, wild, and full of potential. It's almost as if you discover something deep inside you that you never knew existed. The courage to walk without a map, to move forward without the certainty of what lies ahead. Suddenly, the fear of the unknown transforms. What once felt like a terrifying abyss now feels like a thrilling adventure. It's as if you're stepping out into complete darkness, and just when you think you're about to stumble, you realize that you've grown wings. These wings allow you to soar, to glide through the uncertainty with newfound freedom. You stop clinging to the need for control, for clear answers, and instead, you learn to flow with life. The uncertainty, once your greatest fear, becomes your greatest ally. You might not know where you're headed or what's coming next, but here's the beauty. You trust the path will reveal itself as you move along. The unknown becomes a space of endless possibility, where anything can happen and everything is up for grabs. Embracing the unknown isn't about being reckless. It's about trusting that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way and knowing that, no matter what, you'll find your way forward. That's the essence of walking through the dark night of the soul, learning to live in the unknown, and realizing that, in the end, it's not the darkness that defines you, but how you choose to walk through it. If you've made it through the dark night of the soul, you know exactly what this feels like. The emotional intensity becomes something you can no longer escape. Everything inside you, joy, sorrow, anger, love, becomes raw, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. There's no running, no numbing, no hiding from the torrent of emotions surging through you. It's as if your entire being is exposed to the full force of the world, and at times, it feels as though you might be swallowed whole by it. The overwhelming waves of emotion hit you without warning. One moment, you feel an unexpected burst of love, and the next, a deep sadness that takes your breath away. Rage flares up, sometimes at nothing in particular, and then just as quickly, a quiet peace settles in, leaving you exhausted, yet somehow lighter. It's all so intense, so raw, that you might wonder how much more you can take. But here's the revelation. This isn't punishment, it's awakening. The dark night of the soul isn't just about suffering. It strips away the protective walls you've spent your life building around your heart. It reveals the parts of you that were hidden, the parts you've neglected or suppressed. This intense emotional experience is not there to break you. It's there to help you reconnect with yourself, to help you rediscover the depth of your humanity. It's not about feeling good all the time. It's about feeling everything deeply and understanding the complexity of what it means to be alive. You begin to feel things not just with your mind, but with your soul. You start to sense the world around you in a way you never have before. A sunrise isn't just a beautiful sight anymore. It's a symbol of rebirth, a reminder that life is constantly renewing itself just as you are. Pain no longer becomes something to avoid or run from, it becomes a teacher. It's a signal, a message from your inner self telling you where the wounds are, where the healing needs to happen. Your grief, your anger, your heartbreak, they are all part of this profound journey toward understanding. The world around you begins to shift. What was once mundane is now filled with beauty and meaning. You start to notice the smallest details that you once overlooked. The way the light hits a leaf, the sound of birds in the morning, the subtle changes in the people you love. You start to see life through a new lens, one that recognizes both the light and the darkness, and embraces them equally. This process doesn't just lead to survival, it leads to transformation. As you experience the depth of your sorrow, it births deeper compassion. As you feel your pain, it gives rise to a deeper love. You start to understand the human experience in a way that was previously beyond your grasp. You can't just get through this. It's not about pushing through to the other side. It's about allowing the journey to change you. By feeling everything intensely, you begin to uncover parts of yourself you never knew existed. The fire of those emotions doesn't burn you, it refines you. If any of this resonates with you, keep moving forward. We're just scratching the surface. As you continue to dive deeper into this transformation, you'll realize why embracing your emotions, every single one of them, was the key to finding your true self. What you thought would break you is what has shaped you, and in that process, you've become someone stronger, more authentic, and infinitely more capable of embracing life in all its complexity. In the aftermath of the dark night of the soul, something strange and profound happens. You start to distance yourself from the constant noise of the world. The endless chatter, the distractions that once kept you occupied, no longer hold the same attraction. They lose their grip on you, and for the first time, you realize that you don't just want solitude, you need it, as much as you need air to breathe. It's no longer about escaping from the world. It's about reconnecting with yourself. At first, this shift can be unsettling. You might feel isolated, as if something is wrong with you. You may wonder if you're becoming distant or disconnected from others. There can be a sense of confusion, as if the world you once knew no longer feels familiar or comfortable. But here's the crucial thing to understand. This pull towards solitude is not a sign of disconnection. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's a reconnection to your deepest essence, a return to your true self, free from the influence of outside opinions, societal pressures, and the draining energies of others. Solitude in this sense isn't about being alone in a void or feeling lonely. It's about carving out a space for yourself to listen to that quiet, inner voice that has long been drowned out by the noise of daily life. When you embrace this solitude, you start to uncover something that most people will never experience: the profound power of being alone. In that quiet, you begin to realize that your own thoughts no longer terrify you. You no longer feel the need for external validation to feel whole. You begin to find comfort in simply being with yourself, sitting with your own thoughts, facing your own shadows, and finding peace in the silence. This process is one of deep personal discovery. It's here, in the stillness, that you reconnect with parts of yourself that you may have long ignored or suppressed. It's in this sacred space that you begin to trust yourself, to trust that your own instincts and decisions are valid, and that you don't need the approval or recognition of others to validate your existence. You no longer feel the need to constantly prove yourself or seek approval from people who don't resonate with your truth. Instead, you find something more valuable: inner peace. Here's where it becomes even more powerful. When you eventually re-enter the world, you're different. The need to fit in, to conform, to seek the approval of others begins to fade. You no longer feel the pressure to participate in spaces that don't resonate with you or hold the same meaning. You've cultivated something rare, an unshakable sense of inner peace. Solitude has taught you to trust yourself, to stand firm in your own identity, and that trust becomes your foundation. At times, this shift might be difficult for others to understand. The people around you may not recognize the changes you've gone through, and that's okay. This journey isn't for everyone, and not everyone will understand the space you now occupy. But for those who have walked this path, solitude becomes a sanctuary, a sacred place of rest and renewal, not a punishment. It becomes a space where you can breathe freely, reconnect with your truth, and embrace the quiet strength that lies within. In the end, you realize that solitude isn't something to fear, it's a gift. Through it, you reclaim your power and your peace. Here's a truth that isn't often talked about when it comes to personal growth. When you go through the dark night of the soul, not everyone is meant to come along for the ride. This journey is like a spiritual cleansing, not just of your inner world, but of your external world as well. The relationships, friendships, and connections that were once built on shaky, superficial foundations begin to fall apart. And yes, it hurts. Losing people you thought would always be in your life can feel like a betrayal. It's natural to feel that sting when someone you thought would be part of your journey forever slips away. But here's the crucial realization. It's not betrayal, it's alignment. The truth is, some people were never meant to walk this path with you. They were there for a season, whether to teach you valuable lessons or to reflect a particular version of yourself that you no longer need. As you evolve, their energy no longer aligns with yours. The conversations that once flowed easily now feel forced. The habits you once shared no longer hold meaning. You don't hate them, and it's not about rejecting them. It's simply that you've outgrown them. Here's where things get interesting. As your circle shrinks, it also strengthens. The people who remain, the ones who truly see you for who you are and support your growth, become your anchors. They stand by you, not because they need something from you, but because they understand and respect the journey you're on. It's no longer about how many people are in your life, but the quality of those relationships. One meaningful, deep connection is worth far more than 100 surface-level acquaintances. This process isn't about rejection. It's about refinement. You're creating space for the people who resonate with the person you're becoming. The ones who challenge you, who inspire you, and who accept you without judgment. These are the relationships that nurture your soul and push you to grow into your fullest potential. As you shed the old, the right people will begin to show up. Your energy changes, and as it does, you'll naturally attract the connections that align with your new self. Letting go is never easy. It's painful, and it can feel like a loss, especially when it comes to people you've invested time and love in. But here's the key. It's necessary. Every relationship that fades away is making room for something or someone better. You're not just losing people, you're making space for your true self to emerge. These transitions, though difficult, are a fundamental part of the process. As you move forward, you'll see that this shedding of old relationships isn't just about loss. It's the foundation for a stronger, more authentic life. The more you release what no longer serves you, the more you create room for your true essence to unfold. When you stop holding on to the past and start embracing the people and experiences that match who you've become, you'll realize that this process of letting go was not just necessary, it was liberating. You're not losing people. You're finding yourself, and in the end, the person you're becoming will thank you for the space you've created. There's a moment after the dark night of the soul when everything starts to fall into place. All the chaos, the pain, the endless questions, it all begins to make sense. You realize it wasn't random, it was necessary. It was preparing you, slowly stripping away everything false and superficial, so you could finally align with your true purpose. And when that alignment happens, it's as if a lightning bolt strikes you. Suddenly, you feel more alive than you ever have before, like you've been awakened to the very essence of your being. The shift is profound. You stop chasing after things that don't truly matter, things like money, status, or external approval. All those things that once seemed so important lose their grip on you. They no longer define you, and their allure fades. Instead, you're drawn to something deeper, something that resonates with the very core of your soul. It could be a creative passion you've always wanted to pursue, a cause you believe in, or simply living in a way that feels authentic, true, and meaningful to you. Whatever it is, it's no longer about fulfilling what the world expects of you. It's about following what sets your soul on fire. This isn't just about finding a job or a hobby. It's about discovering why you're here, what your true calling is. You begin to see synchronicities, those little moments of magic where everything aligns perfectly. It's like the universe is guiding you toward the right people, opportunities, and experiences. The world starts to unfold in a way that feels purposeful. You're no longer forcing things to happen. You're in flow, trusting your intuition and allowing it to guide the way forward. And let's be clear, aligning with your purpose doesn't mean life becomes easy. It doesn't mean challenges disappear. There will still be obstacles, hardships, and moments of doubt. But the difference now is that you face them with a newfound sense of clarity, determination, and conviction. You understand your why, and that why becomes your compass, guiding every step you take. This shift is both powerful and subtle. You might not even recognize it at first. You may not see the full scope of the transformation until you look back and realize how far you've come. The person who once felt lost, broken, and uncertain is now waking up each day with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. You found your path, and there's no turning back. The direction you've been searching for is now clear, and you're finally walking in alignment with it. The best part? This alignment doesn't just change your life, it transforms everyone around you. When you're living on purpose, when you're aligned with what truly matters to you, your energy becomes magnetic. It inspires others to look within themselves and do the same. Your journey toward alignment becomes a beacon for those around you, lighting the way for them to discover their own purpose. Your life, your purpose, becomes a ripple effect that spreads, touching everything and everyone in its path. After enduring the dark night of the soul, there comes a moment when you realize something extraordinary has happened. You've become unshakable. The chaos, the uncertainty, the heartbreak. It didn't break you. It didn't defeat you. It forged you, strengthened you in ways you never thought possible. You're no longer the person who crumbles when things go wrong, or the one who falls apart at the first sign of adversity. Instead, you face life's storms with a quiet, grounded strength that most people can only dream of. This shift isn't about pretending everything is okay when it's clearly not. It's about having an unshakable knowing deep in your core that you can handle whatever life throws at you. You've been through the worst, you've stared into the abyss and lived to tell the tale. And now, the challenges that used to scare you no longer hold the same power. You've already faced them, and you emerge stronger. So, what could life possibly throw at you now that you can't face? One of the most profound lessons you learn through this process is that peace is not about controlling your circumstances or avoiding life's challenges. Peace doesn't come from perfect situations or from managing the world around you. It's an internal state. It's something you cultivate and carry with you no matter what's going on outside. It's the realization that you are enough, that you've always been enough. And no matter how chaotic life gets, that truth cannot be shaken. Here's the irony in all of this. This peace doesn't make life perfect. Far from it. You will still face difficulties, challenges, and moments of doubt. But the difference now is that those difficulties no longer define you. They no longer have the power to shake your inner peace or your sense of self. You've learned to respond to life's challenges, not react. Instead of fighting every battle, you now focus your energy on what truly matters, the things that bring you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. This newfound strength and peace are magnetic. When others see you calm and collected in the middle of a storm, it draws them in. There's an undeniable pull towards your energy, your clarity, and your unwavering strength. People look at you and see someone who isn't easily swayed, someone who's learned how to hold their ground. In a world that often feels unstable and uncertain, you've become a beacon of stability. And that's not just surviving, it's mastery. You've gone beyond simply getting through tough times. You've learned to thrive in the face of them, using every challenge as an opportunity to deepen your connection to yourself and to the world around you. Your ability to stand firm, to trust yourself, and to remain grounded is a direct result of all you've endured. What you've experienced isn't just about surviving, it's about transcending. You've emerged stronger, more aligned, and more confident in who you are than ever before. The battles you've faced, the pain you've endured, have all shaped you into the person you are now. Someone who isn't just getting by, but someone who is truly mastering the art of living with grace, strength, and peace. You've walked through the fire, faced the darkness, and survived the chaos. You've learned that life isn't always beautiful, but it is always meaningful. Growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. Your journey, your pain, your triumph, it all matters. It's part of a bigger story, a story that's still unfolding. So as we close, ask yourself, what's next? I believe the answer has always been within you. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences on the path of spiritual awakening with us in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video, please like, subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.